on this computer. Admit
Okay.
grain. Okay. And we're up and away. We're up and away.
Yes.
Ukulele.
Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to today's live. Hello, sir.
Hello, Beena. Hello, Beena Angel. Hello, 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 hello. Very good to have you. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm very good. I live in a world full of angels, so it's a magical world. It's a magical world.
It
Very
is a
awesome.
magical word.
Oh, it's too brilliant. It's too brilliant. Like chapter 10, I really see that wasn't just part of the story. It's something I live by, you know. Obviously, so do the new
Yes.
nobility, yeah?
Yes.
Well, well,
Okay.
well.
Thank you, Grain, and thank you anyone who is watching us live and will watch us recorded. You are most welcome here. Welcome to the Moreness, because this is
Oh, yeah.
what we live by, as I was saying. And today we are going to, of course, because this is a project going on, we are going to read, and it's a capital R reading. We are doing it a bit quicker, but not
Yes,
much
yes.
because pay attention to every detail. It's a big project for us, but also it's a very profound exercise and application of so many concepts from way
Wow.
of impeccability. This is what we are doing. You can see and experience that right now live in practice. We do that, of course, in without capital R reading also, but it's a very particular application of discernment and, of
Wow.
course,
Wow.
paying attention and being observant and of course being open. We are practicing to be open for the moreness and the newness without
Mm.
getting influenced by any idea. This is what we are practicing. We do challenge each and every concept and see that and try to understand and, of course, explore it and extrapolate on it to actually try to thinking it through to the end, and then, of course, to make it our own by sharing the takeaways and repeat back. This is a
Exactly.
practice. It's not a simple thing. So many
Exactly.
things involved into that. And also, not just by doing that, but also you can see and experience that during this process, the way we show openness, care, love, and due respect for
Yes.
each other. You can see that
Yes.
because so many times I am not
Yes. Yes.
getting any
Yes.
idea, or I'm not able to read some words
Oh,
or pronounce it right, or making a mistake, or my network just
okay.
okay, yes, so it started acting weird, and something else
Mm.
happened. It's a live thing, and we are doing it regular, but the patience, also the trust. So it's not just a reading experience, it is much more than that. And we are living, this is how we live our lives day and night. This is how we are living, but also we are practicing here. It's a big deal, and I have seen that for many people it is a big deal to be on live, and because they have to put
Yeah.
together things and they have to present it in a certain way. For us it is all spontaneous, it is all natural, it is all organic. This is
Yeah.
how we are throughout our day and life. This is how we are whenever we are doing anything. It can be just doing art, it can be just chilling, it can be about painting, it can be about doing inventories. Whatever we do it in the same way. I was not understanding when Syl was sharing in the beginning that okay, to live by as someone is always recording you, and I was like, how a person can be
Now you know what I mean,
so
right?
much into that, like so much, always be careful and all that. No, you don't need to be careful if you make it our own, if it is innate to you, if sobriety is
Exactly.
innate to
That's the
you.
whole point of it. It's not about being careful. It's about being innate. It's about
Yes,
impeccability.
if
Yes.
sobriety, yes, if sobriety is innate to you, you will not
Exactly.
be like a
Exactly.
monkey the bone
Exactly.
business. You will not get involved into.
Exactly.
And this is what I was sharing yesterday
You don't have
also.
to be worried at being caught in anything or being embarrassed because you'll
Exactly,
never do
exactly.
anything that you can't. Your
Yes,
ethics won't allow it. Your impeccability won't allow it.
yes.
So you're safe.
So whenever someone just come and join us, they just come. We don't have anything to hide. We don't have anything to
Never.
adjust. We don't have
Oh,
anything
yeah.
to change.
To prove
Nothing.
either.
This is, yes, this is who we
Yeah.
are. This
Exactly.
is who we are, and this is how we are also.
Exactly.
And this is a
Exactly.
fun. It's a very free, all caps free living.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
freedom.
That's
It's a
the beauty
freedom.
of it. That's the beauty of it. That's the magic.
Yes.
It's so free. Yes, it takes it. You have to make an effort, to do it at least initially. But
Yes.
have to,
Initially, yes.
but that's like in everything. You learn a new language. You make some effort, but once you've
Once
acquired it, then you've got that freedom of usage. Freedom
once
of
we
usage.
yes, once we get freedom from shirts, all sort of nonsense shirts, then we don't need to prepare for anything.
Exactly.
Then there is
Exactly.
no such thing as, oh, if someone just saw me like this, if
Yeah.
someone caught me like this, you do not get involved into any nonsense. By
Yeah.
nonsense, I
Yeah.
didn't mean that, okay, for all the crimes, but even things which are not nice for you, not good for you, your choices, then
Yes.
life is so less energy consuming. You always feel energized. This is how you get energy to do things
Yes.
which are, for most people, oh my god, it's tiring. How can you do the 2 hour live or more? We can do that for 8 hours, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
This is how we are doing, because the energy is not getting consumed by all these shirts and nonsense that, okay, I have to be on this and I have to be. No, this is who we are, and that's it. So we are living
Yeah.
life. If it is energy consuming, then living is also energy consuming. We are always some sort of energy. We are just investing in
Yes.
every activity. Anyway, this is the thought of the day, and this now we are going to just start with the capital R reading of
Yes.
right.
Yes. And a
Yes.
wonderful, wonderful share, Beena. Absolutely wonderful share. That's just fantastic. That's most wonderful. I love that. And it's so touching on what we are doing. We are sharing this alternative paradigm living, which isn't just being different for the sake of difference. No, it involves so much, and it especially involves choice, 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 right? It's not a belief system, choice, tools, right? So, this alternative is where you can figure out and gain the tools for establishing what alternative you personally wish to have. Yeah? So we're so
Yes.
stuck in this idea of followers and belief and all this. No, get out of that thinking different. Talking about that, Beena, just another chapter to add to the other book.
Mhm.
Uh, we just do it before I forget. We'll get started in a moment. And the chapter is called Computers and AI Can Be All Caps. Can you guess?
No.
Computers and AI can be what?
Can be impeccable.
This is
Can
for
be
the this is
problematic.
for the this is for the 50 ways to be smarter using opposite book. I'm adding another chapter.
Okay, so no guessing, please. Please share.
Right. Computers and AI can be wrong.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah,
They can be. Yes.
duh. Well, I just had this. I just had this, right? So just in case anybody doesn't work with AI regularly, okay,
Mhm.
let me just catch up with my AI here. Well, I'll show you. Let me screen share and I'll show you because we got a screen share for the next story anyway to read. So I just like to fill in on stuff like this because it's non-obvious. Yes, and behind the scenes. So I'm using AI to help me generate images for the chapter. And if you think this is easy, I got another story for you. It's bloody difficult. Sorry, it's a pain in the backside. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's kind of fun too, but it's a lot of work. So just lots of stuff that one has to do. So, all right, and we put this in there. Just you have to be disciplined with doing things, dragging it across. So they started, and they gave me a darker image, and the first one had text on it. And I had to figure out. Anyway, never mind that. But when I started the day, I get the message from them. Scroll back up here. Um, your daily maximum will reset in 9 hours. It said this to me yesterday and the day before. And I thought yesterday, now, did I just get the time wrong? And so now I was clear. They said this to me yesterday. So I said that can't be right, as you said. Now, and I said, and I copied it, right? But uh, but they didn't answer at first, right? This was from, it's like, wow, what's going on here? And that changed. That this wasn't there before. Anyway, so my point is, ChatGPT got this thing with the time all wrong. It said 9 hours or 10 hours yesterday, and that was more than 10 hours ago and the day before. So they totally got it wrong. And then they didn't say anything. They just
Wow.
made the image. They added that little explanation after the fact. I thought, oh, that's very interesting that you just completely ignore this, that you made a mistake. Yeah. So just a point I'm making is that they can be completely and utterly wrong. It's just absolutely fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. Uh, you assume that, all right, I don't mean wrong when it comes to ideas and beliefs and making the image and stuff like that. All right, it's a long complicated process. I accept that, not a problem. But when it comes to purely mathematical thing like that, and next time they're going to say to me, no, that doesn't apply to me. I have a paid account and I have unlimited images. I never saw a restriction on mine, so I'm just going to tell ChatGPT that, and I'll probably say, "Okay, my mistake," and carry on. Don't assume. I wasn't sure. I said maybe I missed the fine print or something, you know. But it's like, no, sorry. Isn't that fascinating, though? That it could be so fundamentally and profoundly, so simply wrong. Very basic thing. Very basic thing. So be careful. I just assumed, I just took it for granted that, well, this is, calculation is part of the programming, that, okay, you get a limit. It's not really the AI doing this, but it was. Don't assume. Don't assume. Don't assume. Don't assume. Very fascinating. All right, Beena, where were we? Where were we? Where were we? Did we deal with the Facebook one already? To read it? I, th- I think
No.
this is the one we did yesterday with all the negative media. How do you stay optimistic for the future? Excess breeds excess. Yes? Or the pictures. We won't
Yes.
remember the pictures because I changed them in the meantime. Ah, look at
Oh,
it.
oh yes.
Right, so we can't go by what, but I remember you saying, "Oh, excess breeds excess." We haven't done this, and we only read
Yes.
one yesterday, so this was the one we read
Yes.
yesterday, correct? Okay, all
Yes.
right, all right, and let's see what was the end there. To stay positive despite all the negativity, we just need to zoom out a bit and focus on the longer term goodness of it all. When we see that goodness, see that longer term goodness, it shifts us to a positive perspective. All right, I don't know if you remember that. I don't, but I do remember excess. All right. Chapter 33. All right, let me move this and put it there. And let me get this set up for the comments. I don't know if Norma's joining us because she's not online at the moment. So
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Have a wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. I look like an idiot sometimes, but that's okay.
what?
So I feel I look like an idiot sometimes.
Never met anyone who is so judgmental about his own looks. And looks in general, yes, but
I'm not really concerned about it. I'm just amused. I know I'm not an idiot, but I'm just amused. And sometimes, like, really, yeah, this fascinates me.
th-
That's
this
all.
this this is so magical what you said that because
Yeah.
I was just okay scrolling through and I saw some woman who was saying that okay, uh, oh, your head is green, a green wobbly kind of a thing you have on your head. And she says, oh look, whoever is okay, she was saying that okay in a way that okay, whoever is watching her, she's saying it to them, and she says, oh yes, I'm talking to you, you have this head. She says that, have you ever, if someone ever said this type of thing to you, have you ever tried to check your head? No. Have you ever feel like this can be true? No. Do you always always try to understand that what they mean by saying so, because it's not even a thought that okay, my head can be like that. She says
Interesting.
that this is the attitude we need towards any negativity.
Hmm.
No, why we get influenced by that? So that was a
Oh
funny thing,
yeah,
but
oh yeah,
she
oh yeah,
was
yeah,
making a point. And when you said that, okay, I'm not concerned because I
yeah.
know that I'm not an idiot. So
Yeah,
yes.
just I'm just amused, that well, there's a moreness to it, of course, as well. We go our lives where we don't really look at ourselves unless you spend lots of time in the mirror. Maybe you're an actor and you're doing your lines in front of the mirror, which they do recommend, right? It's part of
Mm,
acting training. Now, I've never done that. I've never spoken to myself in the mirror. But of course, now on Zoom and doing the lives, you see the image there, right? Like right now, I'm looking at myself, I'm talking to myself, but I'm not really. I'm focusing on what I'm saying, so I'm not really looking at myself as to with a discernment eye, right? Because I'm not listening to the image. I'm listening to myself over here. So my attention is here, not there on the image, right? But sometimes when I'm adjusting things, and especially I see the delayed feed a little bit, then I catch a glimpse where I'm now it's just video, right? And I see myself, right? Now I don't
mm,
typically watch them very much, and if I do, I tend to listen. So then I catch these little glimpses every now and then where I'm looking like it's just something new. And then I see myself with a fresh perspective. And it's very, very
yes.
intriguing sometimes, especially when the video like freezes or stopped and it's catching you in mid expression. And you're like, "No, what were you doing there?" Right. So that's all. And it's just that nuanced, detailed peculiarity. Um, I also feel that if we now are going to say on the looks, I have a fattish, roundish face, but I don't feel that way. I don't have that,
Mm,
normally that around these faces that, more jolly, I guess. But maybe if I had well, when I was a boy, I had a very narrow head face. Uh, but maybe
mhm.
if I had that still, I might be a bit too severe. So maybe that makes me a little bit, adds that jolliness that comes with it, right? That friendliness. So it
Yes.
all balances out, right? All balances out. I
Yes.
might be too severe because I got lots of sobriety, and my Pixar soul version that represents how I am with myself inside. Yes. I'm very
Yes.
strict with myself. With impeccability, you have to be. With sobriety, you have to be. Especially, this is something that you've made the center focus of your life, and now you are sharing this. You can't be messing about, and you can't be just like saying, "Oh, impeccability is a good idea," and not apply it. It's just no way, So, if there's a margin, I err on the excess side, right? But severe, which is okay. It's good. But I always have been with myself, really, in a way. All right, let's read. Let's read. So I'm just saying it's very interesting, when we look at ourselves, it's more than just looking internally. When we look visually, we see things we wouldn't otherwise see. Yes, and there's some moreness
Yes.
to
Yes.
everything. There's some moreness to everything. Yes, I am very severe. Yes, I am very sober. But I have a lot of joy in me too. I like to play around, mess around, and so, having
Yes.
the rounder face is a good thing. Yes, for that.
Having a rounder face is a good thing. Sometimes, visually, we kind of like mm, buffed buff our edges
Yeah.
to make it comfortable for others, and that roundness could be because of that. It could be an consequence of an intent that you don't
Yeah.
want to actually like, okay, make people overwhelmed or other things. It happens,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah.
very good, because so far I have seen people who have more roundish face. They are very strong personalities. They
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
look like. but
Yeah.
they are
Although I
very,
try
very,
not to generalize when it comes to looks, because I'll tell you one thing, when you
yes.
start generalizing when it comes to looks, I
No, 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 no.
guarantee
I'm
you
just saying
are
that
going to be wrong.
this is personal experience. Of course, it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
accurate and it's not a
Yeah.
fact, but it's
Exactly. It's
just a
just fun.
personal
Just fun.
observation.
Just fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it is just a personal observation that, and some of my friends who have like a really, really strong, big face with strong jawline, this and that,
Uh,
and very chiseled kind of, and they don't have that depth. They don't have that
you never
strength in
know.
them.
You never know. In other words. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
it's not of course
Exactly.
it's not
Exactly. Exactly.
a rule for anyone. My
Yeah.
mother,
Yeah.
okay, on a fun side, my mother always say that, Beena, you have a very round face. Okay, and
Yeah.
and one of my cousin's son, he says that, oh Ani, you like he just called me Ani, and he says, Ani, you have a face like a heart. I was wearing a pendant in the shape of heart, and he says, you have a face like a heart. I said, wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
but my mother,
Yeah.
she has a perfect round face, but she always say that, okay, no, I don't have a round face. Beena
Perception is a magical tool. That's why, when it comes to looks, especially our own looks, accuracy
yes.
and reality, they don't mean anything. And for me, I
Exactly,
absolutely, yes.
exactly.
Yeah. From a way of impeccability point of view, you could almost say it as a rule. Ignore what you see when it comes to facial perception. That yes, it conveys an image, but it's very seldom that it actually matches the person inside. We are very much more than what our faces are able to convey. So when we keep that in
Exactly.
mind, very helpful, right? We are more than what our faces are able to convey. Right? All right.
Yes. Yes.
Chapter
Let's get
33.
back to reading
Let's read. Let's read.
because
Let's read. Yes.
because today we have a topic about the face. That's why it is there. It's part.
Exactly, exactly. We just shared some chronicles of counterfeit.
Yes. Yes.
And also, what's nice today,
Chronicles.
I updated all the chapters, and now we are seeing
Yes.
the images I'm going to be using as opposed to the images that I had used before. Right. So these are the ones that I've now specifically, deliberately created with great effort and trial and tribulation, I've got to also say, specifically for this book. Yes, it's very cool, very cool. Yeah,
Yes, it
yeah.
is.
So I'm using my own made images, not publicly available images, which I had for the post, which was okay back then. I don't think they actually had when I wrote these originally. They didn't have AI. It's amazing. It wasn't that long ago that I wrote the articles, it was a couple of years back, but still, AI wasn't available, at least not available so easily and not for making
AI
it.
was not available for us like for very long.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a
it's
new thing.
amazing. AI hasn't been around for long, but it's been around long enough that it feels like, well, it's not the new thing anymore. But it is.
Hmm.
It's only like 2 years now, really, that it's been around. Still
Yes.
new, still new. All right, let's read chapter 33.
Let's see. Yes. The Chronicles of Countenance.
I
Do you
like
feel
that.
that? Yes. Do you feel that Facebook adds genuinely positive things? Sorry, I was reading it in a completely different, with a completely different understanding. So I'm going to read it again. Sorry. Do you feel that Facebook adds genuinely positive things to your life? If so, what are they?
Yeah, if you do read like that, just reread. That's all. Don't say I'm
Yeah.
going to read it. Just reread it, and us as the
Okay.
listener will know you are making the adjustment. That's why you
Okay.
reread it.
Okay. Dear Noel, yes, most certainly. Plenty. Just quick, off the top of my head, perspective, connectivity, community, awareness, trends, patterns, ability to be creative, to apply artistry, application benefits via patience, tolerance, appreciation, enjoying the mundane, seeing the sublime in, etc., etc. There's more.
Yeah. Ah, look at this image. Look at this image.
Wonderful.
So perfect, so appropriate, so appropriate. Very good.
Facebook for me is most decidedly impactful because it allows for attunement, a window to the world, seeing what's happening out there, what people are thinking, where they are at, their inventiveness, inventiveness,
Yes.
their quirkiness, their joy, being privy.
Privy. Yeah,
Okay,
it
privy.
should be privy. It should be
Mhm.
privy because it's one V, but it's pronounced
Yes.
privy like with two V's. But yes, should be
Okay.
privy. But yeah, privy.
Okay. Okay. Their joy, being privy to seeing new inventions that could, can, and does have positive impact on the world. To connect and
Yeah.
experience poetry, art, music, photography, dance, gardens, architecture, design, etc. is so amazing. The exploration of the world through others' experiences is phenomenal. We get to explore ideas and see trends, patterns in the flow of the river of life, in its mundanities and extraordinariness. That is such a boon and a blast.
Yes. Yes.
Public
Yes.
face. The more, since you asked so specifically, I can only respond to by coming from my particular personal perspective. First,
Mm.
the issue of face or continence in the abstract, these represent our honor, our integrity, the sum total of our character as a representation of the interference between us and others.
The
And
interface.
thus, sorry, the interface between us and others, and thus be public at large as well. Face is a big deal, thus. Hence the word interface.
Yeah.
It's a connection to the world.
Yeah. Just
If
by the way,
integrity is,
sorry.
yes,
Just by the way,
no, no, no,
when we started this, right?
yes,
I didn't as yet see that we were going to read this particular chapter on regarding Facebook. It was just a comment that I just noticed my face and it was just thrown out there. And we got into the discussion about face, and look how appropriate it is. It's completely
exactly.
random. It wasn't intended.
Yes,
Just magic of randomness. So
the
this,
magic of
yeah,
randomness.
yeah, it's brilliant. It's so brilliant. It's so awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Thus, okay, no, where is
If
it? If integrity is paramount, a huge deal, as it is to me, then face takes on even more significance. Face has much subtlety to it. When we combine integrity and appropriateness, which are further core concepts to me, then face takes on more significance. There is an appropriateness of having a public face, one which has differences to our private face.
Yeah, read that last sentence again, please. That's important.
There is an appropriateness to having a public face, one which has differences to our private face.
Yeah.
When we engage with the public face and we maintain integrity, it means our public face is not a false one, but a true and in a genuine, sorry, but a true and genuine representation. It might not be the totality of us. This we assume is taken for granted by most. It's phenomenally difficult to accurately communicate the totality of ourselves,
Mm.
especially if we love and learn and grow. If we love to learn and grow, if change is a major part of who we are. Thus, our public face is a particular challenge. It has to not be false, not be misleading, but also be appropriate for what it is, as well as, most critically, not being limiting, or over defining,
Mm.
boxing us in and preventing change or causing problems when we inevitably do change.
Wow, Biella, very sophisticated, very cool. Wow, look at this image. Ah, oh man, that's very cool. Interface with the universe. That's excellent. That's excellent.
Yes.
I love that. All right. Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Okay. Impeccable posting. How does all this apply to Facebook besides the name connection? When making posts, for me, I consider all of this. The symbolism of the name is something which I like to and choose to pay attention to. When I make a post, there is a massive difference between making a public post and something I may say privately to a good friend. I can afford to be less than rigorous with a friend. They know me well enough to know what I say can often be statements which I may believe at the time, but have not yet had time to think through, and they won't hold me to those unless they have checked with me. However, when making a public post, and it does not matter in the least how many actually see the post, just the mere fact that even one person could
Mm.
changes matter significantly. I take the responsibility of putting information, opinion, perspectives, values, beliefs, and even speculation out into the world most seriously. Anything has the capability and capacity to affect others, especially since I am acutely aware of the contagiousness of negativity, a responsibility which impacts on my ethics most seriously.
Yes.
Thus, my face on Facebook is a big deal to me. It is
Yes.
one I have to be able to stand behind. But I wish to answer your question, not just relate my personal philosophies. How does all this adds positivity to my life? It's massively positive to me because of the leverage it provides me, because of those perspectives of mine, because of my integrity and ethics. I cannot post in a way which is casual. I
Mm.
cannot make posts of any kind I'm not prepared to stand behind, which leverages my writing, my communications. This
Mm.
application, particularly to me, as I see Facebook as a publishing platform, as I do all social media. Indeed, from a legal perspective, whenever we post something, we are publishing,
Yeah.
knowing that when I post to Facebook, I am not only publishing, where is it?
Ah,
Okay,
sorry.
publishing.
We're down
Oh,
here. Here we go. I'm not only publishing, yeah.
but I am making a representation of my face has a profound effect on me. It makes me more diligent, more scrupulous, more thoughtful. It would be easy to assume it would thus also make me more cautious, more conservative because of being more careful. But actually, that is not so. Because
Mm.
Facebook is so wonderfully diverse, and despite protestations to the contrary, Facebook is acutely, phenomenally tolerant of
Actually,
diversity. Oh, sorry. Where?
Facebook is
Actually, Facebook is,
actually.
yes, actually, Facebook is actually phenomenally tolerant of diversity. And I
Mm.
love diversity. I celebrate diversity. This openness to diversity allows me to plumb the depths of the range of perspectives, beliefs, and philosophies I hold. Oh, I need to read this again. This openness to diversity allows me to plumb the depths of the range of perspectives, beliefs, and philosophies I hold, develop, have developed, and continue to explore and extend. I can put out there what needs work, what I would like Facebook feedback on, what I wish others would collaborate with me on. I can elicit commentary and discussion. All of this is phenomenally positive.
Yes, very much so.
Fine tuning intent. Facebook, especially because, okay, Facebook, especially because of its connection to face, this leverages my earnestness, both in what I post and also by putting me into contact with earnestness. Earnestness is somewhat like catnip in that it has a profound effect on me. Earnest questions, in particular, do something to me, causing something to happen inside which then connects me to so much more than I would otherwise have access to. It's as if earnestness just pulls responses from me a bit more, taking all of the above and putting it together in terms of looking at all of me when I post and interact on Facebook. I approach posting from a stance of earnest, sober, serious, thoughtful, joyful positivity,
Mm.
or try to as much as I am able. But there is a greater impact in play. All those perspectives and attitudes I bring to bear represent my intent, this intent with which I interact and post on Facebook is powerful to me. In many ways, the most positive of which is the refining of my intent in general, the clarifying of my intent, and the furtherance of my awareness of what my intent is, a powerful positive addition to my life. Knowing our focus, our essence, our resonance, knowing what's important, meaningful, being connected to purpose, all of these are encapsulated in our intent. The more aligned we
Yes.
are with our intent, the more attuned to life we become. A
Mm.
massively positive benefit.
Massively positive. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Contagious positivity. Just like negativity,
Sorry.
so too positivity is contagious. Facebook actually is set up to increase that contagiousness by spreading more of what we put out, what we like, what we connect with. Thus, if we consistently positive interact with what is positive, Facebook soon becomes overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
Those who experience Facebook negatively only have themselves to blame. In this respect, Facebook is much like life. It might seem artificial to some, but it's an impactful choice we can choose, especially if we consider Facebook as primarily entertainment. There
Yeah.
are plenty of other avenues for accessing the full range of what goes on in the world. I don't see Facebook as needing to be that avenue. Indeed, it was not set up to be that. From the start, it was set up with a positive intent to be a positive mechanism for connecting the world's positivity.
Yeah.
At least that is my understanding. Even if it is not entirely accurate, it's an understanding I like to hold and will do so as long as it's tenable.
Yeah.
Tenable. Tenable. But above all, what makes Facebook especially positive to me is the incredible range of options it presents.
Mm.
Always, in anything, whether we experience it positively or negatively is up to us. But usually we don't have the ability to choose from so much. With Facebook, we have that choice, and it's most incredibly positive. Biella.
Yes. That choice is most incredibly positive. Yes. Look at that. Very positive. Very positive, Biella. Go, Biella. Go, Biella. That's a nice one.
I
Hey,
was not aware that you have written something like this about Facebook, because
oh,
you know that how Facebook is so huge
yes.
and
Yes.
so
Yes.
positive in my life. For me,
Yes.
it actually really in real true meaning it transformed my life.
Yeah.
It
Yeah. Yeah.
actually like really gave me a
Oh, it's been
complete
huge. Been huge
transformation.
for you. Yeah.
Yes. So it is a bit emotional for me. Like really, when I was reading
Brilliant.
something.
This picture's of Beena,
Yes.
no, not of Biella. Yeah. Right?
It's like
A
yes,
representation of
because
Beena.
I know that the from the very first day till today, every single day is full of wonder. It's
Yes.
full of magic,
Yes. Yes.
full
And
of
we got to meet
moreness
through
out there.
Facebook.
Yes,
Got to meet through Facebook.
I met all my wonderful friends, and of course, especially you.
How exactly is a complete and utter mystery, by the way, because we had no friends in common.
No,
I made a post where I said I'm looking for two beta readers. Yeah.
yeah,
And
post
Bina
bitter it.
responded to that. How we don't know the magic of the universe because of intent, of course. See, because you had that intent with the Sophie and the philosopher story, and it made the connection. It's just too magical. It's just too magical. All right, so I like this.
Why
By the
Sir
way,
Sebastian
just as a
is
comment,
sad.
we're gonna see a lot of pictures, and I tried to describe Biella as closely as I possibly could, and of course, to get the exact image is difficult. So even though I really like this, and it is a good representation of a Biella, it's still not exactly as close to it as I have in my mind. There is one, and I think it's coming up later, which is closer. It's getting closer. So
So
yeah,
someday
I
we will make a project, and we will give it to AI that if it can merge um, me, my face, Syl's face, Norma's face, Cher's face, and create a Biella
merge
out of it.
all the participants' faces. That would be very
Yes,
Okay.
and create Biella out of it. That would
Yeah, that would be brilliant, Beena. Actually, that's a good idea. I'll actually, it's not that hard to do. I can do that now, actually.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, if we will have that, then that just take features because we all have some part of Biala in us. Okay, yes, and
Exactly.
some have
Exactly.
more, some are just
Exactly.
okay, not
Exactly.
much, but okay,
Exactly.
it doesn't make any difference. We all have that,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it because
Yes.
Biala is the other name of goodness. That's it.
Exactly. 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 And beauty,
Yes,
goodness
yes,
and beauty. If you take the
yes.
root of the name, yes. Yeah. And extra. So if you take that E, right? Bella,
Mm-hmm.
Biella, right? That E and the
Oh,
I, you adding in extra, extraordinary,
oh, wow,
excellence,
it's a beautiful
and you
name.
adding
I was
in
not aware.
intent. Yes.
I was aware. Okay, but still, why you just put the sad reaction on the post, live post? So
Where?
why you were
Where?
sad? I can see on the screen, but you put it on in the group.
Oh, oh,
Have
oh,
you?
oh, oh. Ah, that's just me clicking on something wrong. Thank you, Veena. It's not meant to be. It's just sometimes uh, dang it, where's this now? Where's the post? I don't know how to get out of this now. What am I doing here? Oh, yeah. Sometimes when you see now it takes me back to this. Uh, no,
Uh,
so when I click here, sometimes these things change. How it shifts from there to here, I don't know. So just oddity, just peculiarity. From there, yeah. All right, let's go back, set it to where it was. There we go. And the reason I set it like this is so that I can see the comments. They used to come in real time. It's supposed to be live chat, but they sometimes don't. All right, let's continue. That's very cool. And also I didn't mention it there, but that's I'm coming via Biella, not necessarily me personally. Now, obviously, there's a lot of similarity. Yes, however, I do get into
just a minute,
character
still I'm
with
coming.
Biella. Yes, and I do keep in mind the context in which I'm writing. So for me, almost all everything that Biella said applies, except I do one more thing that's very significant when I post. I'm posting to the universe. This is it. My posts are almost always to the universe. Yeah. They're not to someone specifically. They're not with a specific intent of getting followers or likes or none of that. No. I'm posting to the universe. I'm sharing with the universe. And because it's public, it leverages my impeccability, as Biala mentioned, right? And that's very powerful. But also, when you're sharing to the universe, where else do you share it? Where there's a commitment to it, yes? By making it public, the universe knows I'm serious about what I post about. So it's very powerful for that. Yes, very, very powerful. When you publish your communications to the universe, you letting the universe know my intent here about the stuff is genuine, it's serious, because I can be held to account because of this. Yeah. So there's a lot to it, right? When you go in the finer nuances of impeccability and integrity and communication, it's a very big deal. It's not a simple thing. So very cool as well, right? Very cool. Very, very cool. All
Yes,
right.
yes, just a
Let's,
minute.
yeah, no problem. Continue. Just wanted to move that a little bit to the side there so I can see better. Very cool indeed. Chapter 34. We're getting to the end. There are 40 chapters, by the way. Yeah, well, I suppose if you've got an eagle eye, you can see it here. And, so it's very cool. I like that we're getting to see some of these with the updated images. Uh, it's the work that I put in there, which is a lot, is paying off. Yeah, it's paying off. When I'm done with these, Bina, I'm going to take that. I'll take some of the pictures that
Yes.
I like of Biella, and then I'll
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a picture of me, picture of you, or a couple of me, couple of you, as many as I have. Donna, Sherb, Erica, everybody, and put them all in there and see.
Yes.
Norma. Yeah. Even though
Yes.
Norma
Yes.
has technically done Way of Impeccability, she hangs out with us all the time. So,
Yes. Yes.
osmosis, she absorbs.
Okay. Chapter 34. Using opposites.
Yeah.
How can you get
Ah, ah, ah.
opposite?
Thank you. Big difference. Very big
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
Very big difference. All right. So start again, please.
Okay. Chapter 34. Using opposite.
Hmm.
How can you get as many different perspectives as possible? Dear Dina, starting with opposite is a great way to acquire different perspectives, but it's starting with opposite, not merely taking the opposite perspective. If we use opposite as a starting point, it greatly helps because from there our view of matters mm, is fresh and new, not affected by habit and familiarity. Familiarity. This enables
Familiarity.
us,
Yeah.
yes, this enables us to see what we otherwise might not because of a trained view that sees only what we want to see or what is most efficient for us to see. But from an opposite perspective, especially if we move around a bit from that opposite, suddenly we have many new perspectives to choose from. Opposite also comes in handy when taking on the perspectives of others, friends, family, etc. Those you disagree with, weirdos even, because coming from somewhere near opposite affords us that openness, that freshness to see more than we otherwise might. We can now take on perspectives that don't seem reasonable, logical, sensible, and work from there. Letting go of assumptions is key. Working backwards from the end helps tremendously for generating different perspectives. Same with shifting the mind internally in
Yeah.
virtual
Yeah.
space,
Yeah. Yeah.
changing angles, positions, letting go of truth and untruth temporarily to connect to a larger truth through perspective.
Yeah. One moment, Beena. Let me just make this here.
Yes.
Working backwards from the end. Now, grammatically, I don't need to hyphenate that. But by doing so, I'm making this clear that this for Biella is a conceptuality. It's a tool, in other words, it becomes a thing. Yes, working backwards from the end. Right? See? Changes the meaning somewhat by putting the hyphens. With me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Opposite also comes in, okay, we have done this one through perspective.
Yeah. Right. We're on this chapter now. Opposite also comes, correct. Oh, did you do that already? Oh, it's
Yes.
duplicated. It's
Yes.
duplicated. It's duplicated. See?
Yes. Yes.
Interesting. Oh, I don't want the picture to be dang. I just want this. Normally when you double click, it does the paragraph, but it doesn't yet. Either does the whole thing or nothing. So wow, good catch there. All right, all right. I was like, well, wait. I remember we didn't do the last paragraph, but look at this. Look at this. Look at this picture, right? Using
Yes.
options. How can you get as many different perspectives as possible? Yeah, I just love this, right? I just love this.
Yes.
This is just worked out really, really, really excellent, right? I mean, you also have, lines and flowing, and you've got long, and you've got square, you've got round, and this up and sideways, and even this flat has got some degree of, like down a dip in it. It just absolutely wonderful for alien angles. All right, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Alien
That was that
angles.
that
Wonderful
poem
picture.
yesterday, right? The poem yesterday,
Oh,
alien angles.
yes.
Or potentially, we don't know, but maybe. All right, anyway.
Yes. Okay. Alien angles. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. Imagine if you were an alien who just landed and had to experience the world without the benefits of any prior knowledge. Imagine everything being unfamiliar. Imagine needing to ask why about everything. Even imagine alien footwear. How that might affect your perspective is standing in them.
That that that's
Likewise,
that's a really, really, really cool point. Yes.
Yes.
because how we
Yes.
stand affects our outputs, our perspectives, our perceptions. That's where the word stance comes from, right? To take a stance, figuratively, it comes from the literal. Just try it. Just try standing in different ways, and you'll quickly see. Yes. Or just take
Yes.
the high heels. They change the whole stance of a woman very profoundly. Yeah.
Oh, tremendously.
Right.
Yes.
So it's a big deal. So when you're wearing alien footwear, you might be reminded of where you came from. You're in a human body now, but keep your alien footwear, and you're like, oh, okay, you'll be reminded of your. It's just a very cool little idea. It's simple but very cool. Yeah, the
This is
throwaway
very
fun
interesting
thing, but
because
very cool. Yeah.
yesterday I was watching an interview of a very famous Pakistani actress, and she was saying that she is playing the role of someone who has some challenges, visually impaired person. So that, of course, and she says that when I was observing that to play that character, I just was thinking about like, okay, how it's a ringtone. Anyway, so she says that the footwear, mostly visually impaired people or who have some challenges uh, uh, visually, they choose shoes with more rounded front and
Yeah.
the very firm grip
Correct.
because they cannot
Correct.
afford because
Correct.
and she says that that is something I need to pay attention to.
Ah,
And when
yes.
and I was like, wow, I never paid
Yes.
attention to
Yes.
this detail. But of course,
Yeah.
she was doing that, and she was talking about the style and everything, that how
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
portrayed some characters. And I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And if you're blind, get steel tip toes, for heaven's sake. Use the
Yes.
steel tips. Yeah.
Yes. So she was saying about, and then you mentioned that, and I realized, yes, so many
Yeah.
things because
Yeah.
I because I never did I never had any interaction with someone with
Yeah.
some challenges visually. So
Wow. Wow.
to
Wow.
me, the person would be that one person. But
Yeah.
because she was playing a character, so she was going in a more abstract way, like how these people actually do things. And it's a
Yes.
completely different understanding
Yes.
of things and people. And I
Yes.
was like, wow, I never thought of this thing as
Exactly.
like an abstract point of view.
Exactly. All right. On a related note here, something that I recommend and you get all the participants to do at some point in Way of Impeccability, and that is to literally walk in someone else's shoes. Now,
Yes.
that can make it a little bit awkward because the shoes don't fit you right. However, there's something else we can do. Picture somebody you know really well, right? And then walk their walk, like you playing them in a movie, and you've got to now walk. The director says you're just walking down the street. Walk as cousin Bob. You are
Hmm.
going to be astounded. Right? And now you need to know their walk. You need to be able to picture that walk, right? And walk like them. You're going to be astounded at what you are going to discover about cousin Bob that you didn't really realize just from walking their walk. Me personally, I can't really do it because I get too much. I get a bit overloaded. Yeah, because I've developed my perceptual skills of people really to as much as it possibly can go, right? Really well developed. So I get a
Yes.
bit overloaded doing that. But man, it's an incredible way to know people. If I was in an HR job and I wanted to know the person that I'm hiring, I'd have them walk up and down a little bit, get a good view of their walk, and then walk that walk. I'll know them. I'll know them. Very powerful. All right, let's continue here. Likewise, this very cool
Okay.
stuff. Very cool stuff.
Yes. Likewise, pretend to be a baby, a tall person, a short person, the dog, the cat. What would their view and perspective be? Wow. There are clues. Tall people look down, short people look up. Some hover over, take up more space, are more visible, easily overlooked and neglected, etc. Dogs, cats, babies get looked after, their worldview would be different. Take on the attitudes of these various others, assume their opinions and beliefs. Those are massively affecting when it comes to perspectives, just as our motivations, goals, and agendas. Again, opposite is useful there. Taking on temporarily positions would we would never actually hold, such as a dose of a criminal, or a BSer, a narcissist.
Such as those. Thank you. Thank you for repeating that. My ear didn't catch it the first time.
Okay, such as those of a criminal or a BSer, a narcissist, maybe an abuser, and also of victims. These are phenomenal for generating different perspectives and with them, awareness, discernment, understanding. And if we put those all together, a phenomenal insight.
Yeah.
Exploring perspective is exciting and allows one to understand those around us more fully and to live in the world more deeply. Have fun, Biella.
Have fun. Yes. In my life, especially with understanding the superiority paradigm, being able to see things from the narcissist's point of view, the BS's point of view, even a criminal point of view. Uh, yes, it's not very pleasant, but it is necessary. It is necessary. You'll be surprised. You're going to be very surprised. And it's dangerous a bit, right? And you start getting into that rationalizing mindset of the criminals. Yes. Tony Soprano, right? I mean, it's a very famous TV show, but really worth watching because whoever wrote it had a keen insight into psychology. He's this a mafia boss that has a midlife crisis and he has panic attacks. Yeah, because his
Mm,
conscience is starting to catch up with him. So he goes to the psychologist, but really his intent that he's trying to get the psychologist to say, no, it's okay. And she refuses in the end, right? I mean, they get very involved and everything, but she really doesn't want to say, no, I can't tell you what you're doing is okay. I can't give you the leverage to make peace with it, right? Which is really what he wanted. So it's really fascinating when you look at this and you see how all the convolutions of justification, and this is what people do with criminality. They make their lives become extremely complicated in all of this layer upon layer of building. And it's a mess. No wonder you have, panic attacks and run out of energy or whatever. Your brain can't keep up. It can't keep up. And same thing with narcissists and BSs. It's just, man, it's just overloading. It's unbelievable what they do. Very cool article, this. Really, really wonderful. This is really interesting. Both this one and the previous one. If you just simply apply what is presented, right, you're going to change your life. First of all, on Facebook, not just change your perspective toward Facebook, but if you kind of utilize the ideas and conceptions that Biala presents, right? She doesn't even present them as suggestions, but if you take them as such, you're going to change your entire experience with Facebook because you're going to be so much different, right? It's not a matter of saying, oh, just changing, okay, now I see Facebook more positively. No, it's about the interactivity and the value you're going to get in this article, right? Just taking up these suggestions to get inside of others and like dogs, cats, maybe, just a simple thing from understanding, oh, yeah, you know what, they get looked after. Of course, their worldview is very different. Yeah, it changes
mm,
everything. You say, well, how is that relevant to me? Well, what if you get married and you the one that stays at home and your partner goes and out, right? I'm the stay-at-home husband and my wife is the one who's working, right? I'm being looked after. It's a very, very different psychology. And it can be positive, but it can also be very negative, right? I mean, I could easily see how, wow, I could get really dependent on this. See, can be dangerous. So it's a very, very, very life changing idea that she's talking about here. And also, when we combine in this one, we have stance, and in the previous one, we have face, right? Face, stance, posture,
mm,
walk. Those four are incredibly revealing about us. Yes, walk the walk. We understand this figuratively in our language, right? We've lost face. Yes, I mean, that's a poor posture to take on this, right? We say posture and stance and face and walk all have a very deep figurative meaning. But here's the magic, that figurativeness is rooted in actuality, in the physicality. Very profound, very, very profound. All right, just most wonderful, most wonderful. Well done, Biella. Well done, Biella. Well done, Biella. Very cool. All right,
yes.
chapter 35.
Okay. Chapter 35. Appropriate perspective. Loving your neighbor as yourself is always the right thing to do, isn't it? So everyone wins.
All right, so this is very interesting here. This is very interesting here. Before we
Yes.
carry on, I want to just pause on this question. I suspect uh, Biella is going to why does it give that big space here? You know what I mean? You see, the sentences don't have that, but it's one sentence and it's breaking it up and giving that big space. I don't know why. Yeah, see?
Yes.
It's the smiley face. Okay, that's why. All right, so yeah, okay. Let's just put a smiley face like this. All right. See, that's why it was throwing my eye out. It was bothering me, and this also has got extra space here. But this question, and so often when we start to really pay attention and we practice looking at things as in the previous article, the previous chapter, we've already practiced looking at things from inside people's heads. Yes. Now we can take that and say, this is a bit of a peculiar question, is it not? Right?
Yes.
So now I saying, what would what would what would motivate me to ask in this way? Because there's something that I'm a bit awkward about sharing. Yes.
Hmm.
Right? And likely it is, I don't love my neighbor as myself. Yeah.
Not getting it.
Well,
Not
if
getting
you've
it.
been taught all your life, love your neighbor, love thy neighbor as thyself. This is a very big thing from the
Yes.
Bible, right? Love thy neighbor as thyself.
Yes.
And I'm assuming from the Quran too, right? I mean, it's a very typical thing in
Oh,
most
yes.
religions, okay?
Yes.
However,
Yes.
however, if you're a good person and you've got a really horrible neighbor, and you don't love them, right? You may feel very guilty about that. Remember, with well, a couple that came on Way-of-Impeccability, and they had this horrible neighbor who was very horrible to their children, right? They really struggled. They
Yeah.
really struggled to love that neighbor. They tried very hard, right? But so likely
Hmm.
this is, at least likely this is the issue. But again, just because something is likely, let's not assume this is the only one. Again, perspective shifting. Don't just shift to one, shift to many. What if it's the other way around? What if they don't love themselves? Yeah. And they love their neighbor
Hmm.
a lot, but they don't love themselves. Another potentiality is they don't love themselves and the neighbor.
Yes.
Yeah. Now they're saying
Yes.
that's just taking that first part. Right? Let's break it down. It's much like our poem. Let's break it down. Right? Is
Yes.
always the right thing to do. Now the always isn't emphasized here, but what if they want to know? Is there maybe an exception to this where not loving the neighbor as yourself is appropriate? And yes, there is. There
Hmm.
is an exception. There is an exception to this rule. Yeah. Right. And again,
Yes.
they put in so everyone wins. Yes. And there's even an
Hmm.
exclamation mark there, right? They want to get to this point, but uh, you've said to me, so everyone wins. Yeah. So why ask the question? See? That so everyone wins contradicts the net. You just said the whole answer there, right? Isn't that the right thing to do? Yeah, well, yeah, isn't it? They asking is always the right thing to do, isn't it? They questioning the value of this. Yes. Now I don't know. I don't remember at all what Biella is going to say here. Right. So I'm very curious to see, but there is a very particular exception. Wow, a couple of them, but in this case, where no, it's not always the right thing to do, and 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 by doing so everybody doesn't win, everybody loses actually. All right, let's see what comes from there. Excellent. I
Yes.
just love this
Okay.
though. I just love these questions. They really reveal the inner knot, right?
Yes.
They reveal an inner knot.
Okay.
A
Appropriate
N-O-T
perspective.
and N-O-T, both.
Okay. 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 Appropriate perspective. Loving your neighbor as yourself is always the right thing to do, isn't it? So everyone wins. Dear Janice, Yes, the sentiment is there, but I'd like to take that a little further. Love the neighbor as the neighbor
Thy.
likes to be loved. Thy, okay. Love thy neighbor as thy neighbor likes to be loved. Love thy neighbor for themselves. Otherwise, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of assumed similarity, and we miss out in celebrating and appreciating difference, glorious difference. If
Yeah.
I go somewhat deeper, especially since you asked and included always, I have to say no, it is not actually always the right thing to do. Sometimes it's the very worst. Sometimes we need
Oh, yeah,
appropriate
that does go there.
intolerance. Appropriate intolerance.
Yeah.
It seems like it can't be but consider what happens when we love a narcissist like we love ourselves.
That's the
That love in
exception.
ourselves is based on a on an honest perspective, on the reality of our goodness, regardless of how sensible, capable, or competent we may be in applying our goodness. Bottom line, our love for ourselves is based on integrity, honesty, and goodness. Distorted psychology. But this is not so for the narcissist. Their self love is based entirely on fabrication, on a self deceit, and a complete lack of any integrity. Loving them only serves to confirm and entrench these distorted self beliefs they know to be false, but which they push,
Hmm.
hoping others will buy them. It is precisely this our love for them can, what is the pronunciation for that? Exacerbate? No,
Exacerbate. Exacerbate. Yeah.
exacerbate, exacerbate. Okay. Excuse me. Thus, with narcissist and similar, we have to love judiciously, love
Judiciously. Yeah.
appropriately, love with discernment, awareness, and understanding. And we have to do more. We also have to practice appropriate intolerance because our doing nothing is taken by the narcissist and similar psychologies as an implied agreement. They will distort. If you're not disagreeing, that means you're agreeing. To thus make us an unwilling accomplice.
Yeah. Accomplice. Yeah.
And what our inaction of lack of specific appropriate intolerance makes us complicit in their doings. Wow.
Yes. 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 Read that paragraph again, please, Beena.
Ooh, okay. Thus, with narcissist and similar, we have to love judiciously, love appropriately, love with discernment, awareness, and understanding, and we have to do more. We also have to practice appropriate intolerance because our doing nothing is taken by the narcissist and similar psychology as an implied agreement. They will distort. If you're not disagreeing, that means you agreeing. To
Yeah.
thus make us an unwilling accomplice. And worse, our inaction of lack of specific appropriate intolerance makes us complicit in their doings.
Right. That's a very sophisticated point here. Yes. We have to be very
Yes.
careful by just being neutral. In other words, we can become unwilling and inadvertent accomplices because we are not saying no. It gets taken as a yes, and they will consciously and deliberately do this. They will say, "Oh, Beena agrees with me. She's not upset at what I'm saying. She's not
Yes.
disagreeing, so she agrees with me. No, I don't agree with you, but I'm just not expressing my disagreement." They will consciously and deliberately do that. Now, of course, they box you. Let's say you're in a group, and you don't want to start a whole argument and discussion, so you just let it go. And that's how they manipulate, right? They know what they're
Yes.
doing. So we have to be very careful of loving narcissists. It's a very, even being neutral towards them. Yes, it's very, very dangerous. You get into trouble and people get entangled with narcissists because they don't not love. Yeah, very powerful.
Hmm.
Yeah, very powerful. Yeah, loving others, loving the world. I mean, yes, in general, of course, it's very powerful. But now we come to this overview sensibility. Yes, very, very important. Very, very important.
Overview sensibility. Love without awareness can be disastrous. This is the underlying understanding for making sure our love, like everything else, is appropriate. When we zoom out, always useful when there is some doubt, we see that while many beliefs and conceptions, especially those that at first seem overwhelmingly obviously good, are in fact not always so.
Yeah.
Yes, they are generally so, but not always. We have to stay open and be aware those expectations exist, because while they may be
No, no.
exceptions, maybe
Mhm.
they okay, while they may be exceptions, if not paid attention to and dealt with appropriately, can be extremely negatively consequential.
Yeah.
Also, sadly, and it tears deeply at my heart, but
Yes.
unfortunately, okay, tears. Okay. Also, sadly, and it tears deeply at my heart, but unfortunately, it's all too common for trouble to come from inappropriate application of goodness. It's a huge problem for many good people, but I also have a deep, deep love, reverence, and connection to grace for and with it's jumping continuously. Okay. And with earnest goodness. It is this wonderment in good people that always saves them and the world in the end.
Yeah.
Biella.
Yeah. I liked actually when you read it as tears. And sadly, also, sadly, and it tears deeply in my heart, then it would be rather than at. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. But still, I like that
Yes.
idea of tears. It tears my heart instead of tears my heart. Uh, and it tears deeply at my heart. But unfortunately, it's all too common for trouble to come from inappropriate application of goodness. It's a huge problem for many good people, but I also have a deep, deep love, reverence, and connection to grace for and with earnest goodness. It is this wonderment in good people that always saves them and the world in the end. Earnest goodness is a magic, magic thing. It's a magic, magic, wonderful, wonderful thing. Yes, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. And it's a thing, so it gets hyphenated. Yeah, very cool, very cool. Again, when we start to not take things to be so obvious as what you assume it will be, and this is what the question is asking, right? They're getting stuck. Their honesty is not allowing them to just say, well, so everybody wins. Yes, you see, there's some conundrum here. So it's very cool. Very good question. Very good question. Very powerful. Oh, now we get a very deep story. I don't know if I want to listen to this right now. It's not, but all right.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm setting myself up a bit here, but all right. Well, you'll see what I
Okay.
mean. It's got like I'm a bit lowish in energy. I didn't sleep enough, and this is a
Then
story that
then
there's a lot of
then
it.
then
No, 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 no,
no.
no, no, no. It's absolutely we got to read it. Oh no, we got to read it. Oh, no.
Okay. Okay. Loving love. What are your thoughts on unconditional love? Oh, the famous question coming back to the unconditional love.
Correct, correct, correct.
Dear love. Dear love. Some love is loved without the other even knowing it. I love trees immensely and they don't do anything for me, or galaxies, or just the idea of love. I love that unconditionally. Things make me super happy simply because they exist. Doesn't matter what they do or don't do. I love them anyway. With people,
Yeah.
it's of course more complicated.
Sorry,
For
Beena,
some
one second, one
perspective,
second. Biella
mhm,
makes a little bit of a jump here, right?
mhm, mhm,
A logic leap. Some love is loved without the other even knowing it, but then she jumps to the idea of conditional love, right? By
mm,
implication, and she's saying that
mhm,
the love is unconditional. So it's not really connected to them knowing or not knowing. So it's a little bit of a logic leap here, but it
mm.
it, it also makes the point though she doesn't elaborate on it, that if you can love and the other doesn't know you love, isn't that just sort of by definition unconditional? Because there can't be any conditions. The other doesn't know you love them, so how can they agree or not agree? However, it's very interesting that people will love someone and they're not aware and expect them to do things.
That is something like,
It's
wow,
incredible.
okay.
It's incredible. The logic of it is complete madness, but it's there. It's fascinating. I don't even know you. I don't even know that you're loving me, but yet you expect me. And then they'll be all upset with the person when they don't do whatever they should or supposed to do. It's really fascinating. And it goes to extreme, of course, with stalkers and, fans and stuff like this, right? It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating how, even though the relationship is completely one-sided, this conditionality of love is so ingrained that it actually profoundly affects their behaviors, the psychology, moods, emotions, actions, everything. Yeah, really fascinating. Really fascinating. All right, sorry, continue. Yeah, it's really something.
Yes. With people, it's of course more complicated. For some perspective on unconditional love, here is a love declaration and explanation from the young man, which is particularly relevant. I have loved my heart from before I knew her.
All
Through
right,
being with
let's just
her every
qualify this here, right? That in the way this is written, that the her implies a person, but this article
yes.
is also written where actually I'm going to change it
Mhm.
because it is about the abstract and just the way language comes out to say her. Yes, but the young man very much concerns his heart. It's is if he goes my heart as feminine. But I think this is more important to say it's more neutral, it's more overall, right? From before I knew heart, yes, makes more sense in the long
Yes.
term.
You will have to
Uh,
change many places
yeah,
at now.
through being with, yes, yes, I realize that. It won't let me do the selecting. Where are we now? Thoughts on unconditional love. Yeah, so I have to change quite a lot here. Yes, so all right.
Yeah, so let's just leave it right now. We can
Okay.
read and then we can
Yeah,
you can
yeah. All right.
yes.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, because it is going to take time anyway.
yeah,
So we are reading with the understanding that it's an abstract concept also involved there. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. With people, it's of course more complicated. For some perspective on unconditional love, uh, here is a love declaration and explanation from the young man, which is particularly relevant. I have loved my heart from before I knew her. Through being with her every second, to not being with her, to being near her and not with her, I will love my heart long past even knowing whether she exists or not. Once that love was set in motion for me, nothing can affect it. It's there as a fact of existence as much as my other heart is a fact of my chest. What is done or not done makes absolutely no difference. It may affect my behavior, but not my love. Oh, this is very interesting that the
yeah,
behavior and the love is separated here very clearly. It is declared as a
yeah,
separate thing
yeah, yeah,
because mostly, generally, we have this idea that we show our love through our behavior. Okay. So that is something like and mostly we assume that the behavior in itself is love. Okay.
yeah,
This
yeah.
love of
So
my
we can
heart
hang on.
is a
Sorry, just to go on this. Why I
yeah,
want to change this, because yes, it
yeah.
was written in that because of unconditional love as a relationship, but really, it is meant to be in a greater abstract. So heart can represent a person. It can represent the world, the earth. The earth, the world is my heart also.
Hmm.
Yeah. When you think of it
Yes.
like that, it's now you'll see the logic of the article on the sensibility, the deeperness, right? I mean, trees are my heart too, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 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 yeah.
This
Okay, from
love,
here.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. This love of my heart is a love of their totality. It's not subdivided into love of particulars. It's a love of the all of my heart. It's a love knowing that behavior is variable, that behavior is but an aspect. This love does not depend on particular actions. This love knows the circumstances of life bring forth an array of interactions. This love sees beyond those, always. This
yeah,
love loves the entirety, sometimes even beyond what they see of themselves. Behavior is behavior, it's not the person, it's simply a particular of the moment.
yeah. I wish Norma was here for this. I wish Norma was here for this.
Yes.
Yeah,
Love of being. Okay, sorry. Okay. Love of being. Love of beings ensures we see beyond behavior, that we see to essence. And when that essence captures our love, what can we do but love? I know
sorry.
this not I know this not from hope, not from idealism or romantic notion. No, I know this from experience. I know this because my heart is my heart. My heart
Mm.
is a part of me, is me. How can I not love me? Not love such a crucial and indispensable part of me? A part that matters regardless of where it may be in time and space, matters regardless of where it may be in learning and awareness, matters regardless of where it may be in behavior and motive. It matters not. I tell you again, it matters not.
Yeah,
I do not even matter. I change, I grow, my awareness and behaviors changes, metamorphoses, adapts, shifts. I am unrecognizable as the being first gifted with this love. Yet it remains, how can it not? It's my heart, I love. It's a love of my deepest and most intense intent. It's a love of my completeness, the completeness of myself, a completeness that is beyond this mere moment, the moment that is this particular aspect of my existence right now. I cannot but love and love and love and love my heart. There is no choice, and I would not wish a choice. What a profound and sublime gift of awe and grace to have been bestowed with such love. Conditions. How can there be conditions? This love simply is, simply exists. It's a love of being, just being. The object of this love may be present or absent. It matters not. Once such love has begun, it is. It is a part of the very fabric of the universe, and like the universe, it exists. My love exists, regardless of any of my conceptions regarding it, regardless of any possible conditions. This love is an energy that cannot be destroyed. It's so pure, it cannot be affected as if as its essence, singularity. It's one point. Thus, this love of mine for my heart is forever. I didn't mean to write all that, but once I started, it all just came out. I guess that's just how it is with love.
yeah. Oh, there's more.
Love of life.
One second, one
How in
second, one second, one second. I just want to fix something. I don't want to forget. It's so pure it cannot be affected, as its essence is singularity. Yes,
yes.
and that's a capital S singularity too. Yeah,
Okay.
make more sense?
Yes.
As its essence is singularity. I will write up the first paragraph to include that heart means earth. So for me, in the article for Biella, earth, trees, people, doesn't matter, right? Okay,
Okay.
love of life.
Love of life. How eloquently expressed by the young man. His love for his heart is fierce indeed. This love is the love of life, the love of living. To me, that too is unconditional. Perhaps there was once a condition. Accept it unconditionally or do not accept the gift of living at all. That is how I see it. That is how the love of living is to me, a monumental and profound gift. We love it unconditionally or we do not accept the gift of living. We have all made this choice, this immense choice of responsibility. We forget, we sadly forget we accepted the gift of living unconditionally. Nothing was promised, nothing was guaranteed, not even 1 second was a given. Nothing has forced us to continue living, to continue knowing all that could happen. We knew, we know, and we continue. Whatever happens, we knew could happen. We choose to live knowing this. Thus, how can we complain at what happens? How? We choose.
We
Us.
chose.
Us alone. We chose. Us. Us alone. No one else. To
Yeah.
me, knowing this, all I can do is love the gift of living unconditionally, without regret or remorse, without expectations or demands. It was always a gift, nothing but a gift. What else is there to do but love this magnificent gift unconditionally?
Yeah.
I ask, how do I honor this unconditional love? How do I respect the sublime gift of grace that is life, that is living? I honor it with appreciation. The more I live, the more I understand. The more I understand, the greater my appreciation. I wish to honor the gift of living more.
Sorry. Sometimes it jumps it, sometimes it doesn't. Ah,
Okay.
come on.
I wish to. Okay.
Where was
Okay.
I now? Where was I now? Sorry, I'm trying to like just highlight so I can put the thing. Love
Oh,
of
it's
life.
it
It's
jumps a
down
lot.
here. Yeah.
Okay.
The more I live. Where was that now? Ah, here we go.
Ah, the greater. I wish to honor the gift of living more. I wish to appreciate more. I wish to feel this appreciation in my every fiber, in my every pore, in my very root and core, in my every cell of being. How can I do? What I feel is all I really can do. How can I do what I feel is the only way I can even attempt to honor this momentous gift? How can I extend my appreciation, my deep and consuming love? Only by enhancing my awareness. I need to know more. I need to know how. I need to extend myself as fully as I can into this awesome mystery that is the gift of life living.
Wow. I just want to read this here again. Yeah.
Okay.
I wish to feel this appreciation in my every fiber, my every pore, in my very root and core, in my very soul of being. How can I do what I feel is all I can really do? Uh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it should kind of be two sentences, but all right. Then it makes more sense with that comma. How can I do what I feel is the only way I can even attempt to honor, right? How can I do what I feel? It's wrong there. It's when I do or doing what I feel is the only way. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, in the first part, it makes sense, but not here. Doing, right? Because how can I do? All right. I'll just going to change it for my own more greater clarity. Right? What I feel is all I really can do. Yes. In other words, feeling. Doing what I feel is the only way I can even attempt to honor this momentous gifts. How can I extend my appreciation, my deep and consuming? How I can, not how can I. It all came out in a rush there, see? How I can extend my appreciation, my deep and consuming love, only by enhancing my awareness. I need to know more. I need to know how. Training, Beena. I need to extend myself as fully as I can into this awesome mystery that is the gift of living. Yeah, it's very passionate, aware love. All right, let's continue. Wow, there's a lot here. There's
Okay,
a lot here. Yeah, yeah, wow.
okay, okay. Aware love. The more aware I am, the more I see the exquisiteness that surrounds me. The more aware I am, the more I appreciate the incredible brilliance, the incredible awesomeness that is this gift of living, this gift of awareness. For this, I realize is the essential core of this stupendous, no, say that please for me,
There you
stupendous.
go.
Yes. Okay, essential core of this stupendous gift of living, this heart of it all. This essence is the magic of awareness. My awareness is my connection. My awareness is my interconnection. My awareness is my link to appreciation. My awareness is my link to this incredible unconditional love of the gift of living, the gift of awareness. My awareness is my fusion to appreciation. It's my bond to the gratitude that oppresses my being. My awareness is the start. It's the start of the path of a path that is paved with love, with appreciation, with grace, with goodness. This path of love and living is paved with understanding, is paved with promise of more. My awareness is that pathway to the more. What more does my awareness promise? My awareness promises the possibility of immersion. It promises the possibility of immersion in the gratitude of grace. My awareness opens the door via greater knowing, greater understanding, greater connection. It reveals to me a glimpse of a way to fully honor, to fully respect. My awareness reveals to me the possibility of elation, of bliss, ecstasy, of joy. My awareness reveals to me a way of living, a way of being, a way that celebrates the gift of living in the most complete way I can currently conceive of. This is my tribute, my honoring of the gift of life. I will commit to the enhancing of my awareness until I am love,
Wow.
until I am unconditional love, until I am the embodiment of the most ultimate representations of unconditional love. Then perhaps I will come close to expressing my infinite thanks for this great good fortune that has befallen me. This, to me, is unconditional love. To me, unconditional love is the act of living with deliberate awareness, with love.
Biella.
Yeah, love.
Wow. 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 That's quite something, isn't it, Beena?
Oh, yes.
That's quite something. Wow. Dang it. Yeah. Wow. See what I meant? Yeah. 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 Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Just to make that clear, right? Biella says, for some perspective on unconditional love, here is a love declaration, and this is a capital L love declaration, an explanation from the young man, which is particularly relevant. I have loved my heart from before I knew heart, through being with heart every second, to not being with heart, to being near heart and not with heart. Heart, here is the earth, the world, another person, trees, smallness, etc. Heart can be anything at all. Full stop. I will love my heart long past even knowing whether heart exists or not. All right, now that changed. It always bothered me that it was just focused on a person when it needs to be in the all. And then the last part, right? Love of life now starts to come into it. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
When we understand this, because otherwise we just take it as a relationship love. No, the intent of this and heart means everything, right? Life is your heart. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Nice picture there of Biella too, right?
Yes.
All right. Chapter 37. Chapter 37. What a nice picture as well for purposeful attention. Very good. Very good. Good choice. Good choice, Soul. Beena also helped there in this one. She was on while I was choosing. Yeah, she had input as well. Good choice, Syl and Beena. Good choice.
Purposeful attention. Is attention connected to
Oh,
purpose?
sorry, Beena. I never asked you at the end of that one. Just for comments on the previous, on the unconditional love chapter.
I I feel a bit
But what?
like a bit sad about
Yeah,
that
yeah,
situation when people don't understand that.
yeah,
Even though they get this like really amazing gift that someone in their
yeah,
life can be okay. I'm just saying about person that because people are in in this whole range of variation of an unconditional love. You can love things and like universe and all, where people are the only entity which can respond to openly, obviously.
yeah,
Of course, other things also respond, and of course they are the only one, at least we know, who can get the misunderstanding also.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that is
yeah,
something very unique about loving people, human in this regard. Okay,
yeah,
and if we just assume that in any case, if someone there first the understanding that they had this thing where someone was able to love them unconditionally. It's a big deal. Big deal. Really huge.
oh yeah,
And
oh yeah,
on top of that, when the feeling was mutual, like really, this is like once
yeah,
in a thousand time chance kind of type of a
yes,
thing. The
exactly.
feeling was mutual, like wow,
Yeah,
wow, this is so amazing. But of course, when the thing when anything in your life becomes so huge, we cannot actually gauge it, we cannot measure it. Then we start taking it as something as a threat. When anything in your life, just assume it as like a huge bubble or balloon. A balloon was like which is like gigantic, like really huge. You cannot see the end of it.
yeah,
If you cannot see the end, human psyche is designed in a way that it will take it as a threat. It can crush me over. It can just suck me in. It is something I don't know. Because when we cannot figure out anything, we have this tendency to take it as a threat because of the survival mechanism we have built in. So when the love becomes so huge, people do get threatened by that in their own mind, by themselves. They
Oh, yeah.
assume that, they take it as a threat because they cannot find anything to figure it out. When we cannot
Yeah.
figure out anything, we assume it's negative. The second thing, it's a
Yeah.
threat, and it's a, I don't know, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Mostly, this is what I have observed. And when someone is having this, even though the feeling were mutual, but one was like in this case, the young man he had the clarity about that. He was
Yeah.
not trying to figure it out. He was not trying to measure the love. He was accepting it, that okay, yes, this is something beyond my capacity to figure it
Yeah.
out, to calculate it, to
Yeah.
measure it, and
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
that. So he simply never get into involved into those things. But the other person might be, because this is how people react usually, like, oh no, if it is too
Yeah.
much, then it must be negative. If it is bigger than myself, it is negative.
Right. Either or
It
thinking
is,
again. Either or thinking again. Yeah.
yes, yes. But
Yeah.
it
Very
is, it's
powerful.
a
Very
really,
powerful. Very, very
it's a
powerful.
really once in a million
Yeah.
time thing which can happen, that okay, when really the
Yeah.
feeling was mutual, and they had that opportunity.
Right.
I
But
I
it
will try to
is
focus on that.
mutual when it comes from the world and the universe and life itself.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes,
May not be with people, but it certainly is with the allness. Yeah. The moreness.
yes,
Yeah. That's very helpful to remember. Very helpful to remember. Very, 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 very powerful. Yes, I
yes,
agree. That's why I was a bit like about I agree that chapter. It does make one a bit sad because, like you say, it's not everywhere, and most who love don't connect to love in this way, and they lose out tremendously. Right?
yes.
Very powerful point, Bean. That's why I wanted to ask you about it. That's why I was a bit reluctant to read the chapter, but I have to read it just because I'm
Oh
reluctant. Doesn't
yes,
mean to put it off.
we have to.
I have to be
This is,
Pixar soul with myself. You see what I mean by Pixar soul with myself? Always. I'm not
yes,
going to not do that because I'm gonna feel a little bit sad. No, no, gotta do it. Gotta do
oh yes, oh yes,
it. All right,
yes.
right. What are we on? Chapter 37.
Whatever.
Right, 37. Chapter 37 brings us close to heaven.
Oh yes.
Well, the end. Heaven mean the end.
Okay. Purposeful attention. Is attention connected to purpose?
Again, let me pause on this question. I am inordinately fascinated at the questions Biella is asked. Aren't you, Beena?
Yes.
I mean, some of the questions to me are like, how did you come to this question? It's really fascinating. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, right, right. But
Hearing
also,
you.
just past this first
Question, yeah.
sentence, Biella could have ended there. She could have said, yes, it very much is. And would that have
Yes.
satisfied the questioner?
Hmm. Maybe.
Maybe,
Some people
but
are
do
like
you
that.
think so, or do you doubt
No,
it?
I seriously doubt it, but the
Exactly,
way people ask
exactly.
question, it shows a lot. So, okay,
Right, right,
no.
right. They may not be even aware that they want more, but should you just say, yes, never mind, it very much is, just yes. Is attention connected? Dear Q, yes. Okay.
Yes,
They would feel
yes,
unsatisfied. Okay, if you'd said yes, it is. All right, then yeah, all right, then it's a little better. But yes, it very much is. Oh, well, now you got to explain, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
very interesting implications, right? When again, look at what we just did. We put ourselves in the questioner's point of view and said, well, if I had asked that question and Biella just said yes, I would be unsatisfied. If she just said yes, it is, I'd still be unsatisfied. But she's saying yes, it very much is. That also would leave me even more unsatisfied because I want to know what do you mean very, very much, right? So you can't just answer a question sometimes. You have to give more
Yeah.
when you go into the questioner, right? That ability to put yourself in the shoes of another, in the mind, in the feeling, in the question, inside the question of another. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Okay.
Yes.
Now,
Okay. Dear Q, yes, it very much is. Attention is selection, focus, isolation, specific awareness, and being conscious of a particular choice. Attention is influenced by motivation, moods, feelings, urges, attitudes, goals, and beliefs. Attention is focused thus by what is important to us, by what matters, by what we are interested in.
all right. Let me just
Attention.
pause here. This little paragraph, just by the by, just by the way, is a very, very big deal. Go and try and look up. Maybe now it is, but at least when I was reading and I was studying and learning philosophy, psychology, literature, whatever, right? I read all the classics. Nobody talked about what attention is.
Uh,
Didn't exist. Didn't exist. That what Biala just said there, indeed not was not ever spelt out like that by anyone ever that I ever saw. Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
wow.
It's very obvious when
Yes.
when Biala says it. But
Yes.
and also as we remember that guy with the brain on story, and
Mm.
where or and no, it was on lucid dreaming. The guy who studied lucid dreaming, he said he wanted to study awareness, which by definition also would include a studying of attention, and he could not. It was a taboo subject in academia, and to some extent still is today. Yeah, they just said no, it's not possible to answer this, and therefore no, you can't study it. And if you wanted to, you were kind of marginalized and blacklisted and whatever. From academics, how are you interested in knowledge and learning? And the one thing that's the most important for it, you don't want to study simply because somebody said it's not an answerable question. But absolute bunkum, absolute rubbish. Incredible, Beena. So anyway, I just want to say that it seems so casual here, and we just take it for granted. But in the greater context, what the Biella is doing here is very powerful. This whole article is a very big deal philosophically and psychologically. Yes,
Yes.
very big deal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
she's being a
Attention.
psychologist. Yeah, right,
Yes.
and not
Yes.
just a not a psychologist, a psychologist. She's psychologering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Attention can become fragmented if we have overlapping or conflicting priorities. Usually, fragmented attention is a consequence of wanting to do or experience too much all at once. This
Mm.
fragmented attention will lead to fragmented memory and poor retrieval as the memories aren't filled properly.
Filed
There is not enough attention, sorry, filed properly. There is not enough attention for long enough to look in multiple associations. That's
to
how we
lock
remember.
in.
Why? Oops, I need to read this again. This fragmented attention will lead to fragmented memory and poor retrieval as the memories aren't filed properly. There is not enough attention for long enough to lock in multiple associations. That's how we remember via the associations.
Mm.
If we are going over something too quickly, then that process is disrupted. Another cause of poor memory is thinking we know too soon.
Wow.
Uh,
Yes. Ah,
uh,
yeah. It's so powerful what
another
Biala is saying here.
another cause of poor memory is thinking we know too soon. Often this is brought about the necessities of time pressure or ego. But when we want to remember, we simply have to slow down. and then connect whatever we are paying attention to with all the associations pertinent to it.
with all,
Yes,
I know it wasn't emphasized, but I am now, with all the associations pertinent to it. This is very powerful. This is deep stuff here. Yeah.
yes. Priorities. The entire attention memory process can be accentuated by simply spending time on priorities, making an effort to sort out all the goals and motivations one has. Goes a long way. Arranging appropriateness, thus in a hierarchy, helps inordinately. So there are abstract long term goals and constant immediate ones, like work and survival issues. Once those are sorted and clarified, then decided on interrupt priorities.
Hang
When
on, that
and
that's
for how long?
grammatically right. That's once those are sorted
Yes.
and clarified, and then decided
Decide to.
as
No,
to.
then decide to interrupt priorities.
Ah, okay. Well, no, it's decided, but see, it's the decided. And so once those are
Okay.
sorted and clarified, and then decided, you're doing the deciding as to interrupt priorities. Yeah, yeah, right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Or you can say,
Once
and
those
then
are
then deciding, I could say, on their interrupt priorities. But all right, it's keeping the style going. Yeah.
okay. Once those are sorted out and clarified, then decided as to interrupt priorities. Okay. When and for how long it's okay to be distracted. This helps tremendously. If there is an inner sense of what it is that one is about in the grand scheme, things like saying open to input, learning, expanding awareness, and so on, then we are motivated to pay attention to what comes and what is now. The key to it all can be summed up as living in the moment. But that is not the whole story. To me, it's about continuously responding to the moment, that constant interconnectivity to the moment is huge. It's an interactive process, always responding appropriately to the moment, the ever changing moment. Of course, the moment often repeats for stretches of time, but nonetheless, it's still always a moment to moment update, as things could completely change at any moment. So, a part of us always needs to be monitoring for change, while the rest is free to immerse in whatever the moment brings. We can maximize with what has come to our heart's content. Heart's connect, okay, connection, no, heart's content, okay. As long as it's always appropriate in all contexts.
Yeah, yeah. Let me read this one. I was busy editing and I lost it. Yeah, yeah. I want to keep the thread, right? Once those all can
Yes,
decided with the grand scheme, the key to it all can be summed up as living in the moment. Yes,
yes,
and because this is a thing again, living in the moment. But that is not the whole story. And I know Biella doesn't use contractions, but in this case it's necessary. But that's not the whole story. To me, it's about consciously responding to the moment. Ah, that's a big deal. That constant interconnectivity to the moment is huge. That constant interconnectivity to the moment is huge. I'm going to put a comma there for extra emphasis here. Is huge. It's an interactive process, always responding appropriately to the moment. Wow. The ever changing capital M moment. Of course, the moment often repeats for stretches of time, but nonetheless, wow, wow. right? Of course, the moment often repeats for stretches of time.
Yes.
That's a huge statement, which so many forget to live in the moment. Right? And we get
Yes.
confused by this. How do you live in the moment? Because the moment repeats. Yeah. The moment and another moment and another same moment. It's just repeating for a long stretch of time, right? So it becomes a big moment, but it's comprised of multiple moments repeating. Yeah, in other words, yeah?
Yes.
Right? As things could completely change at any moment. Yes. Right. Of course, the moment often repeats for stretches of time, but nonetheless, it's still always a moment to moment update as things could that could is important here, completely change at any moment. So a part of us always needs to be monitoring for change, while the rest is free to immerse in whatever the moment brings. Ah, man, this is powerful stuff here. We can maximize with what has come to our heart's content as long as it's always appropriate in all contexts. We can maximize what has come rather than with. I understand the with because we're looking to interact with it, but we can maximize what has come to our heart's content as long as it's always appropriate in all contexts. Yeah, it's quite hard to do, by the way. Oh, something's getting in my eyes. That's very hard to do to maximize in all contexts. It takes a bit of skill in doing. Oh, fitting into the grand scheme. All right. Wow, wow, wow. Are you
Fitting
there, B?
into the grand
Oh,
scheme.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Once we have a sense and understanding of what we are about, what we are doing in the overall life scheme, once we are focused and directed from this perspective, then things become simple. Really, it's having that overall sense and focus that is important. And for me, it seems that life, the universe, and everything is all geared to the enhancement of awareness. Wow. Okay, am I missing something here?
No, no.
Okay, okay.
Read it
I
again then.
see it.
Read it again. Read it again.
Okay. Um, I want to read the whole paragraph now.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we have a sense of understanding of what we are about, what we are doing in the overall life scheme, once we are focused and directed from this perspective, then things become simple, really. It's having that overall sense and focus that is important. And for me, it seemed that life, the universe, and everything is all geared to the entrenchment of awareness. Enhance.
Enhancement.
I was reading this and I'm like, oh, he's listening. Okay, enhancement of awareness.
Mm.
I see it as either aligning to this predominant intent or not. The more we
Yeah.
align, the simpler our lives become.
All right, hold on, hold on, hold on. And for me, it seems that life, the universe, and everything is all geared to the enhancement of awareness. I see it. What is it here?
Life,
Life or living? Yes.
yes.
I was going to put life, but then when you said it, I thought, I think it's better to say living because that's, yes, life is the thing overall. By implication, in that context, it's living, but living is more accurate, right? I
Yes.
see living as either aligning to this predominant intent or not. Yeah, and again, I want to add the comma in there. Yeah? The more we align, the simpler our lives become.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Please continue, Beena.
The precise forms of how exactly our lives take shape and how exactly we fulfill this mandate of enhancing awareness can be most complex indeed. Like writing a book, in one sense, it's simple write a book. In
Yeah.
another, when we immerse in the details of the book itself, it can be inordinately complex. The key to managing complexity is to always have those simplistic, abstract perceptions which amalgamate all the complexity in a single, simple, graspable concept, such as writing a book or enhancing awareness. We
Yeah.
can leverage our attention and our motivations by simplifying and clarifying what we are all about, by focusing and enhancing what is important to us. It's when we want to do things that we
When we
take on an
want to do things.
okay. When we want to do things that they take on an extra element. If we combine that with if we combine that with living in tune to the greater flow, to those external forces that exist, then we add an even more powerful layer of motivation and focus. This is because being in tune, living in harmony, is energy efficient and it's also pleasurable in the extreme. It adds an element which is not otherwise easily available. That element is the magic of the unknown, the magic of connection, that magic of everything seeming to come together in a way that is precisely and specifically directed just exactly for the individual. To get precisely what one needs is phenomenal. Of course, once we understand that what we need is to learn and enhance awareness, and once we learn to want this, then life is easy.
Then, of course, then, of course.
And
Ah,
of course, life is
yeah, I
easy.
think I might want to take out the of course. There's not necessarily an of course here.
Exactly. Then
No.
life is easy. That's
Yeah,
simple. It's
yeah.
more powerful.
Then life is easy. Yeah, because the of course is in the beginning too. Of course, once we understand what we need, that doesn't need to be there. Superfluous that again. Of course, once we understand what we need is to learn and enhance awareness. And once we learn to want this, then life is easy. The want needs to be italicized again. Wow, powerful stuff, powerful stuff. Okay, tuning via anticipation.
Okay.
We, we, we,
Tuning
we,
via
we we mustn't forget, by the way, yes, the
what?
question. The question is
Yeah.
attention and purpose. We've dealt with attention, but we haven't quite gotten to connecting to purpose yet, right?
Mm,
Yes, if we
yes.
remember the question, it's very interesting what Biella is saying, but how does it answer the question of connecting attention and purpose?
Yes.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Let's not forget our center column here, right?
Tuning via anticipation. A specific technique for being able to tune into the moment more effectively is to develop the habit of anticipating the moment, to thus look ahead and to see what is coming. The further ahead we look, the more we have to extrapolate out. This ability buys us
One
time.
second here, one second here, one second here. Just want to say something very quickly. Hello, Norma. See, Norma just came on there. See, going to message now.
Yes.
Yay, Norma, yay. Yay, Norma, yay. All right. So sorry to interrupt there. Very important. But this is a big deal again. So I just want to reread this in any case, right? This first chapter, yeah, anticipating, sorry, attuning by anticipation. Oh, don't be sorry. Of course, we uh,
Oh,
we
no,
we
no
we live by
no
appropriateness, Norma. We
problem.
live
No
by
problem.
appropriateness, so we always know stuff happens, and we just take that. We absolutely accept that that's what happens. That stuff, life has gone a different way. That's how it is. So you're under no obligations ever, no expectations, no obligations. That's the freedom of our paradigm that we trust. We absolutely trust that if you wanted to be here, you'd be here. If you could be here, you would be here. And we know you like being here, so we assume something happened. We take it for granted, right? Always the freedom, always the freedom. So yeah, wonderful, Norma. I'm thrilled here. I'm thrilled here. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. All right, please keep going, Beena.
This ability buys us time. It enables us to extend our range of choices simply by virtue of having more time to even consider the choices that are available to us that mostly are not accessed due to lack of time.
Yeah.
Once we
Ah.
get into the habit of anticipating, we can
All right,
now
sorry,
respond.
sorry, pause here 1 second. I just need to edit here, right? Just look at this sentence here, right? This ability, the ability to extrapolate, in other words, buys us time. It enables us to extend our range of choices simply by virtue of having more time to even consider the choices available to us. Yeah, available, but mostly are not accessed due to lack of time. See,
Hmm.
that the choices that are available to us. We took out 4 words there. Right? Time to give, to even consider the choices available, but mostly are not accessed due to even right. I need to simply by virtue of having more time to even consider the choices available, but mostly are not accessed due to lack of time. Right? Much better sentence. Yes. Not that the other was wrong.
Yes.
Not that the other was wrong, but it just but this is just better, right? Less superfluous words. All right. Oh, absolute pleasure, Norma. We just absolutely love you, and it's important that you're here. And even though it's important to us that it's here, it's not necessarily important to you. We're just being selfish by loving having you here. You got other stuff in your life that's important, obviously. So we accept that and we understand that. We're just greedy for you. That's all. All right. Please keep going, Beena. Please keep going.
Once we get into the habit of anticipating, we can now respond to the moment in more ways. We have expanded our ability to live. We can choose options that aren't our primal and basic default programmed and conditioned responses. These are, for the most part, extremely limiting. This is all, to me, part of the grand scheme. I see it as a necessary step. We have to have default and conditioned reactions in order to function at first, to have a basic starting point that more or less works. But the inefficiency and contradiction of this default system are also necessary. Those force us, once we have become aware of them, to understand their limitations and to transcend the basic system. This is vitally necessary. It does come to deliberate living, and this, in the end, can really be the only way to be maximally appropriate in the moment.
Wow, it's a very big
Hierarchy
point
of
here. Sorry, by the way, I just want to just comment on this,
yeah,
right? But the inefficiency and contradiction of this default system, oh, it should be is, I think, yeah, because it's both of them together, is also necessary. Those force us, once we have become aware of them, to understand their limitations and to transcend the, the basic system. Those force us, comma, once we have become aware of them, to understand their limitations and to transcend the basic system. That's a huge point. In other words, it's saying in a roundabout way, well, kind of not even roundabout, but it's saying that there's a value to the basic system being messed up because it forces us, yes, at least once we become aware, to understand their limitations and to transcend them, to transcend the basic system. Yes.
yes,
Through deliberate choice. Yeah. Just to really make this very clear. Yeah.
yes,
And actually, I'm going to put the exclamation mark there. Yeah. That's huge. That's huge. Yes. Very philosophical point here and psychological one. Yeah. Which just reminds me, Beena, that when publishing the book, yes, I'm obviously going to put it in the genre categories, and I only give you 3 categories now that used to be able to put it in 10, but I only give you 3. But to at least have one of those 3 be philosophical and psychological. Yeah?
yes.
Okay. Yeah. 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 We thus come to deliberate living. Yes. And this, in the end, can really be the only way to be maximally appropriate in the moment. Yes, exactly. And now, deliberate living, when said in that context, connected to appropriate in the moment, it becomes a self-evident sensibility, right? Why do you want to live deliberately?
Yes.
Because it allows us to be maximally appropriate in the moment. Yeah.
Yes.
Hierarchy of motivations. Ah,
Hierarchy of motivations. To simplify it all, I guess to say we have to simply make the effort to sort everything in our lives into a hierarchy of abstract conceptualization.
yeah.
A hierarchy of motivations, thus. We do need to have that inner sense of what our purpose is, making a list of what one wants in life and then arranging by importance helps them tremendously. If we keep the items of that list in mind, it serves to heighten and direct our attention to what is important to us. And of course, what is important in this context are those things that are way more important than money, fame, or success. The things
Yeah.
that truly matter, the abstract concepts of importance. Biella.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we get back to purpose, right?
Yes. Yes. Okay, I need to go now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
Yes, yes. So,
yeah. Okay. Now, now,
yes.
now, you would think there, 1 second before you go, an astute
Yes.
reader might say, but shouldn't purpose be capitalized here? In the context, you might rightfully say so, yes, but Biella is a bit particular about this to say no. We must be careful about this idea of life having a capital P purpose. It can have multiple. And when we do that, we tend to start looking at our entire life in the context of that one particular purpose. And you accomplish it, and then what? And then you get lost, right? So that's why I say what our purpose is, or purposes, plural, right? It's making a point there. Right? It's a wonderful hierarchy of conceptions. This is just fantastic. Yes. Yeah. Just a great picture. All right. That's absolutely fantastic, Beena. We just did wonderful. I'm really enjoying reading this. And just so much moreness has come from it. Very powerful.
Oh, yes.
Very powerful, really cool. And to understand that, this is, yes, it's under the basic genre of life advice. Yes. You can even say life
Yes.
coaching, life advice, I mean, that's what it's an advice column is how it started, right? Although
Yes.
Beena doesn't give advice in the usual way. She shares what you can go and use, but she doesn't say do this, do this, do that, right? She may say my suggestion sometimes, but she doesn't give advice in the usual way. She doesn't tell. So, but still, that's the main genre, even though she does it differently. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting a visitor. I'm getting a visitor. Oh no, they're just
Okay.
reading the meter. Never mind. And it's reading the meter, not the visitor. I just see them on the monitor. Yeah. And they're in the rain. Poor things. All right. Anyway, this is a big deal to realize too that there's more to this. This is a deeper book than just life advice because in the category, I know you got to go, Beena, but it's important for me to get this out because then it gets deeper in the mind. And so I'm running it through. Right, it's part of the process because life advice in general is that category, that genre is typically associated with somewhat shallow advice. Yeah.
Hmm.
Because an
Hmm.
advice column was typically about relationships, right? And there was one
Yes.
such question here, how do I get him to see me? That's that in the typical advice columns, at least when I started. Maybe today it's different. But back in the day, they almost always were about relationships, right? And we had one such with a love and how can I get him to love me? And okay, maybe the unconditional one love too. But this is more than this. This is more like people going to the the professor in the university and asking, deep life questions, right? So these aren't typical advice. These are life queries rather than seeking advice. Yes? See what I mean?
Yes.
It's a very
Yes.
big difference. A life query is I'm thinking about life. I don't quite understand. Like in this case, yeah, the connection between meaning and purpose. You can just say, yes, there is. Okay. And the thing, that's not what they want. They want this moreness. Yes. Yeah. 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 So this is very good. All right, catch up later. All right, we're gonna go now. Anyway, no, no, don't be sorry, Norma. Please, never be sorry. Never be sorry. Never be sorry. That's one thing about impeccability. Also, when we make this our default, our innateness, as Beena started to say in the beginning, to make it full circle. Once it's innate, there's no saying sorry because you're
Yep.
always doing what's right and appropriate. Yes, can't be. It's right
Yes.
and appropriate. It's right and appropriate what you're doing, Norma. No sorry involved. Is what it is. All right. All right. I love this. I love this. All right. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Beena. Thank you very much, Norma, for being here. I'm glad you came. It's wonderful. Norma, when you do rewatch this, the article before this one, so it's about near the end. I think we what are we in? 2 hours 20 minutes now. So about 2 hours into it, 1 and a 3/4 hour maybe, because quite a long article. There's a chapter on unconditional love, and when we're reading it, I said, "Oh, I wish Norma was here to hear this." A very, very, very good article, very good chapter. Yeah, very good chapter. Right, Bina?
Yes.
Very powerful one.
Yes.
And I said, man, I wish Norma was here to hear this. So when you re-listen, if you don't have time to listen to the whole thing, just go to about an hour, 3/4 into it, just zoom along, skip, and roughly there, you'll find it more or less. All right. All right. Bye bye, everybody. Sleep
Okay.
well.
Bye.
Bina, are you going to come back on Zoom or not? You going to go right to bed?
Uh, not right now, but I will come back.
All right. All right. Well, just call me then. Okay. All right. Bye bye,
Yes.
Norma. I
Okay.
mean, bye bye, Bina.
Bye.
Bye bye. Talk to you later. Talk to you later.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Bye for now.
Wonderful. Bye bye. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye. And meeting for all.